Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of What Ted Says, where it's always time to get a fatter wallet and a bigger net worth. That's what we do here. We talk about a lot of good stuff, anywhere from fun to entrepreneurship to social media and personal finance hacks. But today I'm going to talk to you about entrepreneurship and the quickest way to make $1 million. I have actually designed a formula that's proven to help you make $1 million, and I'm going to show it to you. It's called the Economic Income Value Grid. You see, most people don't realize that the basic law of supply and demand takes place, and that basic law of supply and demand happens for people who make a lot of money and people who do not make a lot of money. So I'm going to show you the chart on here, and the first thing that I want to show you are low five-figure jobs. Think about somebody who makes minimum wage or somebody who makes $20,000 or $25,000 a year. Those are generally classified as task or clerical type jobs. So think about this. Think about a mall store today like the Gap. How much does it actually cost to hire somebody who can just fold jeans or fold shirts and basically either put them on the shelf or put the pants up on a hanger and then hang them on the racks? It's not that difficult to train. And it's the reason why that even though you may be the best jean folder or the best shirt folder in the entire world, your income is not going to cap more than that level of $20,000 to $25,000, because if they fired you tomorrow, I could get somebody who had very little training whatsoever, quickly train them on that job, and they could actually start making money. Now, if you think about this, the next advancement of this layer to people who make mid five-figure type jobs, people that make $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year, is they start to learn some basic managerial tasks. Consider the same example that I gave you of somebody who works in a Gap store, but now that they have graduated from being just a jean folder or just a shirt folder, and now they're actually running the store. So they not only have to know how to do that task of being able to fold jeans and fold shirts, but they have to learn how to basically hire and interview a basic person to do that job. They may have to manage the schedule of when people come in and out of the store. They may be the person at the end of the day that tabulates all the receipts and figuring out what kind of sales were made in that store. So you do have to have some more skill to do that job. But if I actually fired that manager that was in that job, is it trainable? Could I train somebody to be a store manager of a job even if they hadn't worked in the Gap before? And the answer is yes. So it's a little bit more difficult to find that person, which is why it pays a little bit more, but it's not that difficult to find that person for that job. Now, the job I'm going to tell you about next, it's funny to me and ironic because I always wondered why these people didn't make more money, and I'm going to explain to you where the magical dotted line happens. The one dotted line that you need to know that will forever change your life in learning how to make $1 million fast. So, the high five-figure jobs are generally called technical jobs. Think about really smart people you know, accountants, engineers, people that are able to do these highly technical things. I think every engineer that watches this is probably smarter than me. But what happens is engineers are basically on the expense side of the equation. And so even though they're very good at their job, yes, there are engineers and accountants that make more than $100,000, but most of those people will end up being in a high five-figure type job, $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year. And the reason they generally don't make $100,000 a year is because they suck expense from the business and they don't hit this magical dotted line that I want you to put in your heads today called revenue. The line that separates the skills in life that make the real money, the ones that arch you up to making $1 million, and the ones that will never make or hardly ever $100,000, is that magical floatable line of revenue. Now, the first five-figure job that now turns into six-figure type jobs is sales. Sales are important because without sales, there's no revenue in the company to pay the clerical people. There's no revenue in the company to pay the managers. There's no revenue in the company to pay those technical people who can do computer programs, or like I said, even if they were an architect in an architecture firm to draw those plans, you have to have money to pay them. So you can make six figures if you could sell cars, toys, financial services, whatever it may be, if you can sell, you always have the opportunity to create a six-figure income. Now, while there are some salespeople that make $1 million, they're still at the bottom level of that $100,000+ income. The difference in the curve of my economic income value grid is when sales turns into entrepreneurship. That's the next level. Entrepreneurship is basically salespeople in many cases that take risk. You may take human capital risk. You obviously take financial risk. You're either putting your money into it or you may borrow money from the bank to start a business. And the entrepreneur not only has to learn how to sell, but they've got to have some of those basic skills to be able to run the operations of the business. And consequently, entrepreneurship pays more than sales. If you're successful at it, you'll see many entrepreneurs that make $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, and yes, there are some entrepreneurs that make $1 million. But let me tell you the number one skill. This is something that you should put in your phone, you should write it down, you should scratch it somewhere that you can remember inside of your head all the time. And the only seven-figure job in America, only one, is marketing. That's an interesting one, isn't it? Because what does that mean? Let's look at a professional athlete. Take somebody very famous like Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods arguably is one of the best, if not the best, at his actual profession. And when Tiger Woods played golf and he was hitting his pinnacle, he might have made $10 million a year. But he made $100 million a year or more in endorsements because that endorsement money was paid for him to market products to bring in more customers. Bill Gates, unbelievable creating software. Microsoft Office is one of the most successful programs in the history of computer programs. But he made more money because he figured out how to get it into 90% of the households in America. You see, the hardest skill and the one that is the toughest to learn is the skill of marketing. If you learn and you're able to bring clients into any organization whatsoever, you are extremely valuable. And if you learn how to make that customer acquisition repeatable on an ongoing basis, it is the quickest way you can make $1 million. You're the best at what you do? Great. It doesn't mean you'll make $1 million. If you're okay at what you do, but you know how to bring lots of customers into the front end of the system, you can make $1 million. And look at this. When you walk away from watching this What Ted Says today, look at any person that you know that you think makes $1 million and behind it, you're gonna find that they're really good at whatever they do for marketing. And that is the key skill. So a lot of courses and programs and other things that are out there that talk to you about how to make $1 million. This grid that I've shown you on the screen today that you can look at it, print it out, put it on your wall. It'll be your quickest way to $1 million. So hope you enjoyed that episode. If this is your first time watching, just click the subscribe button, sign up to see more great episodes of What Ted Says. Tell your friends and neighbors, and of course, anybody that wants to make $1 million.